In my last video, I talked about how WWE has a habit of ignoring wrestlers who get over on their own. Wrestlers who build fan bases, move merch, and create buzz without the company's permission. And when that happens, more often than not, they're left behind and ignored because WWE doesn't like surprises, they like control. But today, I want to shift the conversation and look at how AEW approaches this same problem. You see, I've had a theory for a long time that I want to break down today. I believe that AEW doesn't push people in the traditional WWE sense. AEW simply presents talent and lets the crowd decide. If the audience reacts positively, AEW will keep using them. If the crowd reacts negatively or not at all, AEW will stop using them. But for the most part, everyone has an equal chance to succeed. It's not perfect, but it's refreshing. Because when a wrestler connects, AEW listens. Today, I want to talk about that system, how AEW, at its best, offers a platform rather than a push, and why, for the right kind of wrestler, that can be the opportunity of a lifetime.
Oh, and by the way, Daner Bronco Buster?
Yeah.
Where the hell did that come from?
Improv.
That was wonderful.
So in my previous video, we focused heavily on Karrion Kross, and I did that because I wanted to make a point in this video. You see, if Karrion Kross was in AEW and was getting the exact same reactions from the crowd, I'm talking Kross is one of AEW's top merch sellers, he's going viral on social media, he's getting massive pops even if it's just in a backstage segment. AEW would not waste a second to capitalize on him. Kross would probably be the TNT champion right now. I think this is very interesting in how both WWE and AEW go about simply listening to the crowd. In WWE, a push is something that happens to you. You have to be chosen. Creative has to write a story for you, people produce your matches, and marketing decides whether you get a t-shirt or not. If the machine is behind you, you're on TV. If it's not, you disappear. But in AEW, things work a little differently. AEW's model is far more reactive. It doesn't pick the next big star and force it down your throat. It watches the crowd and responds. There's no 10-step plan. AEW gives you the mic, gives you the match, gives you the time, and then backs off. That might sound like a lack of structure, but it's actually the point. It's opportunity without overproduction. AEW says, here's the platform, now show us why you belong. It puts the onus on the wrestler to connect through ring work, character, promos, personality, and if they do, AEW rewards that connection. It's not always clean, it's not always fair, but when it works, it's real. The crowd organically elevates the talent, and the company gets out of the way. You're not being pushed, you're being received. Of course, this system only works if the company is truly willing to listen, and that's where AEW, for all its flaws, still feels fundamentally different. AEW doesn't always get it right, but they rarely fight the audience. If someone gets over, AEW runs with it, they lean in, and when they don't, they quietly pull back. In AEW's short existence, we have already seen this countless times, and I think one of the best examples is with all the non-signed talent that the company uses. We have seen AEW bring in tons of people who are not signed to the company, but if they connect with the AEW audience, AEW goes out of their way to make sure that they sign them. Shibata and Mina Shirakawa immediately come to mind. AEW used them on TV as much as they could while they were signed to New Japan and Stardom respectively, but AEW fans made it clear that they wanted to see more from them, so Tony Khan signed them both right when he could. This is a great example of the system because it is something WWE simply can't do. WWE can't bring in talent from another company and see if they connect with their audience, and I know, Joe Hendry, that's a great contradiction, but honestly, the TNA partnership, it just doesn't feel like it counts in this context. The next person I want to look at is Action Andretti. In December 2022, he made his AEW television debut at Winter is Coming against Chris Jericho. This match was seemingly going to be an easy squash match for Jericho, but for some reason, the match just kept going. Now, I was actually in the audience for this match, so I can tell you firsthand that it truly felt like we were watching something happen on the fly. We were jokingly chanting, "Let's go Jobber," but with every passing minute, the joke turned into real emotion. And AEW listened. Chris Jericho, for all his flaws, listened. We did not know who Action Andretti was, but with one match, AEW was able to get an entire arena to cheer for him. That is special. Now, Action Andretti has not gone on to be some big star, but that doesn't always need to happen. He signed a full-time contract with AEW. He's simply been a fun addition to the roster, and that would never happen if AEW didn't listen. But this system doesn't just benefit unknown names or surprise debuts. Sometimes it creates genuine stars, wrestlers who were always talented, but just needed a platform to remind the world. Toni Storm, Swerve Strickland, two of the most over wrestlers in the world, and not because they were chosen, but because they were embraced. Let's start with Toni Storm. She came into AEW as a respected name, sure, but not a top star. During her run in WWE, she was never really given the chance to show her full personality. And when she first arrived in AEW, it felt like more of the same. She was good, obviously, but something was missing. It took Toni Storm time to become timeless, and I think this is a good example of AEW not shoving her down our throats until she truly deserved it. Toni Storm easily could have came in as a big name who AEW immediately made the face of the division, but the connection with the fans simply wasn't there yet. AEW didn't force it. They gave Toni Storm the opportunity to click, and eventually she did. Then there's Swerve Strickland. Swerve was always good. You knew it, I knew it, everyone knew it. But like Toni Storm, it took time. When he first came into AEW, it wasn't clear where he'd land. His tag run with Keith Lee was cool, but nothing really special. At some point, Swerve felt a little lost, but he kept his head down, kept working, and eventually the fans acknowledged that this guy deserves to be doing more. Swerve didn't wait to be pushed, he just kept showing up, night after night, with presence, confidence, and eventually a terrifying edge that would turn him into a star. AEW let him talk, let him wrestle, let him bleed, but most importantly, they listened. By the time 2024 rolled around, Swerve had gone from underrated workhorse to can't-miss superstar. His rise wasn't handed to him, it was earned, match by match, promo by promo, moment by moment. And the AEW crowd, they chose him, just like they chose Toni Storm. This is what AEW's system looks like when it works. Wrestlers aren't being manufactured in a factory. They're being given a blank canvas and told, go make a name for yourself. Of course, not every wrestler thrives in this kind of system. Not because they aren't talented, but because AEW requires a different kind of self-direction. Just look at Aleister Black and Rusev, two guys who left WWE with huge fan support, massive potential, and a sense of unfinished business. But it never fully clicked, and that's the flip side of this opportunity-based system. AEW gives you the mic, the match, and the moment, but it won't always script your rise. For wrestlers used to being told what to say, what to wear, and what to do, that freedom can feel overwhelming. AEW isn't perfect, no company is, but what makes AEW feel different is that when something catches fire, they don't smother it. They fan the flames and let it rise. They listen, and for wrestlers, that means everything, because being given a platform is one thing. Being trusted to do something with it, that's rare. That's why I say AEW is the land of opportunity, not because everyone becomes a star, but because everyone has a chance to become one. And in a business where so many doors are locked from the inside, sometimes a chance is all you need.
Hi.
I'm sorry?
I just said hi.